Hey guys, in this video, I'm gonna unpack how to take maximum advantage of the displays and TVs that you may have in your business. So this is gonna be a great thing to watch if you have a medical office, you have a lobby, you have a waiting room, you have a service counter, you have a restaurant, you have a bar, anything like that where we've got TVs where we can take advantage of. I'm gonna unpack how to strategically take advantage of those, create your own advertising loops that are engaged, and silently sell and influence your customers while your employees are doing the job that they need to do. So this is a great way to make sure that you can get your messages across and not have to necessarily rely on human factors and your labor force to do that, because of course they're busy providing customer service. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to tell you how to produce great spots for those displays, what the psychological tactics are, and talk about a little bit of technical aspects as well. Okay, let's get into kind of what we can cover and what the approach is. And most of this stuff abides by the same types of messaging and tactics that we'd use in the rest of our advertising, okay? So we want to focus on key benefits, the product highlights, and most importantly, the expected or desired outcomes that your customers want from your product or services. You don't want to do too much detail, trying to get into like overly educating and so forth. Anything that's gonna like information overload people when they're casually enjoying the space in your business, right? So if they're eating a meal, I mean, they're not trying to like learn about every single thing, but of course you can pop some stuff about your desserts and so forth, right? Great play, that's incremental revenue, and that's a great thing to be promoting in that type of environment. So think along those lines, but don't go overboard trying to do too much. And you of course want to package that into appealing visuals, text and graphics that reinforce and support the message that is whatever, you know, what is the focus of whatever that segment is. And when you're doing these loops, the other thing to think about is that you would have multiple promotional segments within a loop. Some of the ones we have done have been 20 to 30 minutes in total runtime. And amongst that, you can have quite a bit. You can also have some repetition in there because you're gonna replay and overplay. So you can think about it that way. So this is sometimes not a small project, but it's worth it because it's such an incredibly good opportunity to take advantage of when you have your customers in your space. To talk about the structure of what this loop is gonna be, okay? We're gonna begin with awareness, right? What's the vibe? What's the whole deal with the business? And what's your guys' story? Overarching stuff, right? Brand stuff. Then we can go into cross-sell, upsell, and maybe even downsell, right? We start unpacking, what are the additional things that you offer that they may not know about? If they're buying X, wouldn't they like to buy Y? If they're enjoying a meal, wouldn't they like to have a dessert? If they're getting tires on their car, would they also like to have their oil changed, right? That kind of stuff needs to get unpacked in the next set of series of segments, okay? So you can then go all the way down the line with those, which gives you a lot of material typically with most businesses to work with. And I would add on to the end of that, which I said earlier in the last segment, then you can stack in some success stories that other customers have had. Or just good time vibe, like people having fun with your stuff or people having fun at your place, you know? In the case of a restaurant, great customer interactions, events, things like that. In the case of a product, somebody out using it and living their best life. In the case of a service, what is after the service is performed, what does that outcome look like for your typical customer that has a good positive experience? So that kind of stuff, right? Those can all get feathered in. Now you can blend away and hopscotch type A, type B, type C, type A, type B, type C, and randomize the thing, which is not a bad idea. Or you can go linear. I typically like to randomize, and here's why. Especially when you have shorter customer visitation timelines. Like in a restaurant, you can get away with a longer loop. Obviously, people are gonna sit down and have a meal. But if you have like a counter serve business or something where people come in and leave, or maybe they're just in line to check out. So you got maybe like 2 minutes or 3 minutes with the person's attention, or they're in an elevator, or they're in a lobby, right? They're not gonna hang out forever. That's when we get into that randomized deal, and we're gonna produce something where they're gonna get as much exposure in a short period of time that you can possibly construct. Okay, so structurally, that's a good roadmap to how to lay this thing in. Okay, let's dive into the production quality. Like, it goes without saying, and if you've been on my channel, you know this, that we want to go as professional as we possibly can, especially something that's going to be on a display in your business. It really needs to be done with good gear by somebody who's qualified, that knows how to shoot, that knows how to edit. Like, don't think you're going to pull this off necessarily like on a phone and with, you know, janky stuff. Now, the good news is on these is typically no audio, right? So that whole complicated equation about how to mix audio, get high quality audio, and that kind of stuff sort of goes out the window. So you get a pass on that part. However, you also lose that as any sort of crutch in this production to, you know, help moving the story along. So you have to do all the work with visuals. And in this case, that typically means some graphic design and animation is going to need to be done. So you can bring in some text and some messaging that's going to go along with whatever the visual and footage is in the background. There are some cases and some businesses where almost a slide deck can get most of this job done without having to worry about camera work. So consider that for your business, you may be a good fit to do a series of slides with some nice animations, maybe some still photography that's part of that, and not have to get into a lot of videography, right? There is quite a bit of flexibility on how you produce these depending on the type of business and what is going on. So don't discount the fact that some of this could be mostly graphic design type of work. You know, in a lot of cases can make it easier, and at the same time, the requirements that I just stated still apply. It can't look like some clip art crap from 1989. It's got to be really smooth and, of course, putting the best foot forward for your brand, company, store, location, etc. Don't put anything together that doesn't look amazing, because it's going to play all the time and your customers are going to watch it. And the exact reason why I'm suggesting that you take advantage of this is that you have a captive audience would start to quickly work against you, right? So don't put some crap together for a captive audience, because then you're just going to pump your captive audience with some junky stuff, and in their head they're going to be like, why am I in this dealing with this junky place? Okay, so be looking for professional, high quality production value. It should, when it's done, whether it's video, graphic design work, slides, still images, like doing the kind of Ken Burns effect, text overlay, font treatment, all that stuff, make sure it is gorgeous and let it play and enjoy it, because it's worth the investment. And here's the last thing I'll say about that part, because you're going to get a lot of mileage out of it, right? You could play the damn thing for a year and maybe just do some quick edits to update for like seasonal offers or additional things that you've brought in to the product mix, and you just edit those in, right? So the first piece that you do can be absolutely amazing, and then you can just build into that like almost a modular approach. So don't cheap out and do stuff that you're going to be hating in a month. Look at this thing like it's going to go 12 months. And then that sort of squares you up on whatever the investment is. Okay? All right. Good stuff. Well, let's talk about what are the strategies that you can use. This is a great opportunity to leverage upsells, downsells, and cross-sells that your customers may not know about, and that you can tell stories around, show them what all the other stuff that you do. So you can think of it as a great indoctrination opportunity for your customers. The last thing I would add to that is a surefire win is to throw in some reputation remarketing stuff in there, right? What are some other success stories that you can throw into this loop so that the customers that are there or that might about to be buying from you because they just walked in have a chance to see other success stories that people have had by working with you, buying what you sell, and getting the outcome that they all want. Okay, let's wrap this up, all right? First thing to remember, your display videos should be working for you to drive profit and help your selling agenda, whatever that is for your product and service. It should draw focus and spotlight on the things that are going to help move your business forward, not just be entertainment in the lobby, okay? There is some whole other discussion about creating atmosphere loops and so forth. That is not this. This conversation is about taking advantage of display space in your business that can help teach your customers about more opportunity they have to solve problems in their lives with what you offer. So that's the crux of this thing. And if I was going to review any part of it, that would be it, which is the key strategical part. The rest rest of the stuff, you know, production, awareness, cross-sell, upsell, downsell, and all the pieces on, you can rewind and review that. And you, of course, can always go to other videos on my channel and learn even more about some of those tactics, okay? So if you have displays in your business and you're struggling with that, you're trying to put stuff together, or you got questions, or you think all of this sounds completely insane, hit me up in the comments. And of course, don't miss the next video. I'm going riding. See you guys later.